Toronto's Top 5 at 5. Brought to you by Gutter Helmet of Minnesota. Never clean your gutters again. Learn more at gutterhelmetmn.com.
Gaardsy, as we welcome Luigi back in studio, this has been a great summer. This is like 5 out of the last 6 weeks you've been in here. You've brightened up the whole summer for us, so it's good to have you back. Did you happen to see, are you familiar with Sam Amick?
I was going to get to it. Yep, go ahead.
I'm just going to read it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to do.
Yeah.
The Minnesota Timberwolves are showing interest in LeBron James, according to Sam Amick, very plugged-in reporter. What's more, the Warriors do not appear to have clarity yet regarding James' plans. Cleveland and Miami are often cited as realistic landing spots as well, and the Minnesota Timberwolves are known to have interest if he felt like shocking the basketball world with that sort of move.
Well, I'll give the background real quick that free agency just started.
5 o'clock.
The news of the day is that LeBron informed the Lakers today that he will be continuing his basketball career elsewhere, not in Los Angeles. So
maybe South Beach.
Yes.
But not Manhattan Beach any longer.
Very nice. Good geography.
Louie, if LeBron does come to the Wolves, would he be more East Side guy or West Side guy? Would he be a St. Paul guy or Minneapolis guy? What do you think?
I think he'd probably be Minneapolis because of the roads. You got to travel to the basketball arena, and I don't know if he wants to go more than
here's my
2
thought.
miles.
Given the real estate situation in St. Paul, he could buy a whole building for nothing, and then he could also have like a penthouse, condo downtown Minneapolis right next to the to the Target Center. He could do both. He's got all the money in the world.
Yeah,
wouldn't matter.
He could buy a building in each town.
That's true. He could buy the Fauché Tower.
Yeah, the real estate downtown.
Yeah.
Some of you look at some of these buildings that they're going for.
That's a great point.
He could have a lot of condominiums.
We got a lot of good stuff to talk to with Louie, including a World Cup story. He might be able to top what apparently the Mexico fans were attempting to do to the Ecuadorian team last night, leading into tonight's matchup. But where do you want to start, Gaardsy?
Well, with that, I was going to start in the NBA. So we talked about the LeBron thing. The other deal is the Toronto Raptors apparently are nearing a deal to acquire their former championship wing, Kawhi Leonard. The trade would send Brandon Ingram, who I've always liked.
Yeah, in theory, yes. It just hasn't paid off.
He's not healthy all the time. Yeah. He's been around now. Grady Dick, 2 unprotected first-round picks, a pick swap, and 2 second-round picks. This was a Shams bomb at about 3 o'clock, just as the show started. Y'all remember that Kawhi Leonard helped lead the Raptors to an NBA title in 2019. He has won the Finals MVP twice because he was on the last Spurs championship team as well. But the often rumored Kawhi Leonard deal is apparently done, and he is heading back to Toronto.
Do they need to plant a lot of trees in Toronto, too? Because Kawhi is known for that, right? That was his big association with whatever that company was.
Aspiration?
Whatever it is, yeah.
He's big on trees.
We're still waiting. The league has been investigating the arrangement where it appeared there were accusations that the Clippers basically paid him extra money by this association with this tree company, but it hasn't happened yet. So in the meantime, he goes back to Toronto, where he helped them win an NBA title.
And I'm sure you like Toronto. Toronto's a great city. They do have a lot of trees, but not downtown. He can go to Muskoka, or he can go up around Halliburton.
Yeah.
A lot of wooded areas. But he obviously liked Toronto when he was there. If you're going to go back, you must have liked it. And he was very successful there.
Extremely.
It's a great sports town.
No other free agency nuggets since the door was officially opened at 5 o'clock?
Yeah, I don't think so. With Twitter now, you don't always get the latest in your algorithm.
That's true. Oh, you don't?
No, well, I don't.
Well, you can control that, can't you?
Maybe you can. I haven't been able to figure it out.
Oh.
And I haven't honestly tried that hard.
I see.
But I don't see anything that happened.
Louie, in your time, we were talking about how the assumption is, even though officially you can't talk to free agents before 5 o'clock today in the NBA, that, it's wink, wink. Everybody's always talking to everybody. There's all kinds of tampering going on. In fact, I was reminded this morning that when Jalen Brunson was still with Dallas and a free agent, the Knicks got caught by the league tampering. He nevertheless went to New York. They signed him. Rest is history. They just won a title the other day, as you know. And it cost him a second-round draft choice. And I'm thinking, if that's all it costs you tampering might be worth it. So I'm assuming you tampered all the time.
No, but I got tampered with and I lost the case.
Really?
Yes. When we started this free agency back years ago, it was probably around the 85, 86 area that I was on the road, as a matter of fact, the day of free agency was going to happen. And at 9:30 in the morning, or like a minute after free agency opened, Harold Snep signed with Detroit. And I was really upset. I immediately called Ziegler and I filed a claim against Detroit. And I should have known better. Ziegler's from Detroit. And he got put in by Norris, who had owned Detroit.
Right.
So they just winked their eye at it and said, no, they really didn't. I said, how is this possible? I said.
A minute after,
Yeah, I said, I'm talking about it immediately. I've never negotiated a deal that fast, and I've negotiated hundreds of them. This is ridiculous. But he wouldn't take my protest, and I thought maybe I'd get a second round or some
nothing
out of it.
That's annoying.
Out of it. It really was really annoying.
Now, if you ever did tamper, would you be foolish enough to put the illegal contract in writing?
No. No.
Unfortunately, of course, that's what the Wolves did with Joe Smith.
What do you think my name is?
That's it, Glenn Taylor?
No. I have to think that those guys, I can't believe that they didn't think they'd get caught. It's just amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing.
If you're going to pull something illegal, you better be shady about it.
What else you got, Gaardsy?
Do you want me to read the Sid McCloskey blow-by-blow from Jerry Zgoda, or you want to save it?
We can save it.
We'll save it. All right, because I'll just mention, it's pretty funny. The Twins, back in action tonight. They've won 2 in a row for Boudreaux. They beat Houston yesterday. They are back in action tonight in Houston. Joe Ryan on the mound opposing Mike Burrows.
Louie, did you grow up seeing much baseball, Major League Baseball, or paying attention to it in the Sioux? Was it a big thing at all when you grew up, baseball?
Really big. I heard every Detroit Tiger game on the radio. I went for 14 straight years, every year to Detroit. I started at 6 years old. By the time I was 9, I was catching the bus alone at 9 o'clock.
I think you did tell us
10 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
so,
that's right. That's great.
And we were in the West End where I grew up, the Italian section. You either love Detroit because you got the broadcasts in from Detroit, or you love the Yankees because you had Rizzuto and DiMaggio and that. And every Sunday we'd have a Yankee and Detroit game. And
that's tremendous.
And
so you grew up with it.
I played senior baseball at 16. I played more baseball than I did hockey till I was 16.
Is that right?
Yeah, I was playing against Kincheloe Air Force Base, Alpena and Marquette Prison, stuff like that.
What was your position? What'd you play?
Shortstop.
Shortstop,
of course.
Position.
Of course, the captain.
That's a key position right there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Good range?
Real good range.
Decent range.
Bad. Good glove.
Bad.
Great arm.
I want my shortstop to have a good glove.
Yeah.
I'll give up the bat, a little offense, to have somebody who can make that play in the hole.
I could bunt real well.
Is that right?
I can, yeah.
Interesting.
In fact, we played our fast pitch softball team. We beat King in his court there. I think it was 14-1 one time, and that was he was the best.
That's impressive.
Yeah. We lost the All Ontario Championship, and Metro Zurich, who pitched against us from Sudbury, he left after 1 year and went to Providence, won 3 national titles.
3?
Yes, 3 in a row.
God, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
Fan is your chance to win $2,500 if you go to KFAN.com, type in the keyword travel. That's the keyword for our show today. $250,000 giveaway cash contest. Final one this week. Go to KFAN.com, enter the keyword travel.
We have a lot of hockey to get to. Some players, who's available, who isn't, whether some of these names interest Louie. He's getting worried about some of the names that maybe are slipping away from us. And then as it turns out, as I'm talking about these Mexico fans disrupting the Ecuadorian team hotel before tonight's World Cup game, Louie basically said, hold my beer.
Yeah.
He has a story or two to tell
Canada Cup when
it comes to disruption of this sort. So all of that and more with Luigi. Bradshaw and Bryant, KFAN text line for questions at 64686. Back in just a minute.
This is Bumper to
around the world, from India to Carolina. She's a sticky-fingered filcher from Berlin down to Belize. Take you for a ride on a slow classic Chinatown.
Where in the world is
Lou Nanne.
Well, amazingly, he's in studio, and I say amazingly because here's the text that came in from Russo 12 minutes ago. Louie just told me yesterday he was done doing radio for the summer. How did this happen?
No, I told him I don't know. I said he misunderstood me.
Yeah.
I said you got the draft that's just over, and then you got free agency. I said, so I always do one or two in July.
Yeah, exactly. And then we move on. We give you a little break. Yeah. So, it's worked out well.
I hope he gets the deals of the Quinn Hughes extension more locked in than that conversation. I hope he's got the Dylan Larkin deal more locked in.
Before we get to some of that, we were chatting earlier about the Ecuador-Mexico game tonight in the knockout stage, as we like to say. And apparently the officials for Ecuador are saying this is not good. We don't like this. We blew into town literally the night before, needing a night's sleep. And we couldn't get a night's sleep because at the Ecuadorian team's hotel, the thing called Team Hotel Serenade was taking place, where Mexico fans used loudspeakers, horns, and motorcycles to attempt to disturb the visiting squad's rest. It sounds like you consider this double-A ball compared to a couple of your shenanigans and maneuvers.
Well, one wasn't too bad. We were playing the Canada Cup, and we were playing our game in Edmonton, and Czechoslovakia at that time wasn't just Czechoslovakia. Czechoslovakia was playing in Vancouver. And I had learned the day before that when Czechoslovakia got to Vancouver, that František Musil, who I drafted and I was trying to get to come out, was rooming with Dominik Hasek. And we needed Czechoslovakia to lose because of where we were in the standings and who we were going to play in the playoffs.
Right.
And so fortunately, I called every 45 minutes, I called Musil's room, to talk about the contract or how I'd get him out or something. And I did that from 2 o'clock until almost 5 o'clock.
2 till 5 in the morning?
No, in the afternoon.
Oh, okay.
When they were supposed to be sleeping.
Oh, I got you. Okay,
I thought I'd do a number on Hasek, wouldn't let him get any sleep. Unfortunately, he was starring again.
It didn't matter?
Didn't matter. I mean,
you might have motivated him.
And that's what I'm wondering. Well, if he just...
Oh, that's funny.
I don't know. He's just a different animal, as everybody knew, a great goaltender. But I thought I might as well take a shot at it.
Well, it sounds like there's another example, no? Did you do it another time? Was there another story?
No.
I thought maybe there was another one. Maybe you had a couple in your arsenal.
I probably do.
Yeah, you don't even think about them. May not remember them. Yeah. That's true. All right. So where are we on... do you feel any more negative, positive, same on Larkin, for example? I'm not
as concerned about Larkin right now as I am about the Wild replacing 53 goals, because if Tarasenko goes with 23, Johansson's already gone with 15, and if Zuccarello goes with 15, that's 53 goals. That's, 20% of your output. They got 268 goals last year, and if you remember, their goaltending was terrific. The goals against was terrific. So if you expect to get much better at goaltending you got this past year, it's going to be tough to do. So you still need the production. Every year before the year started, I used to sit down with Sonmore, and we try and forecast this. Look, I want to get together. I want to know how many goals we're going to score with the lineup we got, so I can get an idea of during the season if we're going to have enough goals to win to get us, in the playoffs, etc. And right now, if you take 53 goals away, now Brink came in, but he's with the team part of the time, but he has 15 now. You still got to replace those goals.
Yeah.
And I'm not even putting any factor into how many first assists did Zuccarello have on Kaprizov's goal. Are the guys going to be able to make a play to Kaprizov like Zuccarello did for some of those goals? And so is that going to affect Kaprizov's output? Because when I look around, if they don't get a Larkin, who's going to be coming on the wings that are going to provide that kind of scoring that you can afford? Like, Marchman's out there, Mason Marchman, but I think he's going to be too much money. I don't know which players are you going to get. You've already got a checking line. If you got Marcus Foligno and you got Karen, you got Trenton, you might even have Nick Foligno. So, and maybe even Sturm if they don't have to trade him for salary openings. But where are those other 3 holes going to be filled? And what concerns me is maybe they want to cut the cord and get Kaprizov to move on his own. But you're at a position right now where you're dealing for right now. You want to do it now.
Everything else is
and
right.
There's no doubt Zuccarello could play another year. So isn't it better to deal right now with the team you got, or at least that line that you got? You know what the production's like. Do you expect to get, by getting rid of Zuccarello, do you expect Kaprizov to get 55 or 60? I don't know.
Well, do you now think the handwriting's on the wall that Zuccarello's not coming back?
I'm afraid of that because they had a chance to sign him or at least talk to him before this. I mean, why would you not do it? Even if you're waiting to see, where your money's going to be.
Right.
You have an idea. You still need bodies to be in the lineup. So you're going to have to sign somebody for some amount of money. Now, if you want to see if you can even get in a range where if you have to cut Zuccarello back, you get an idea how far back you got to go. And you don't know until you talk to him.
Well, what's your theory on how we got here?
I think because it seems to me, and Mike and I were talking about it yesterday, and he feels they want to cut the cord with him and as well. So that's a scary deal. I hope that they come up with somebody that could produce it, because you still have to score goals to win games. And if you have all your scoring up at the top in one line, say you put Boldy together with Kaprizov to keep him functioning the way he was, and Boldy functioning the way he was because Johansson's gone, and say you put him with Eriksson Ek and you got that line, well, that line will do well, very well. But you need more goals. If you just look at the Stanley Cup playoffs, it wasn't the first line that won it for Carolina. It was the second line that won it for Carolina, and the third line with Jordan Staal.
Story breaking today that the Islanders were informed that their captain, Anders Lee, is headed to the unrestricted free agent market. Not a decision that it was taken lightly. Russo has already reacted with the belief that the Wild he thinks would have a lot of interest, but that Lee would take time to examine the right team, so he may not necessarily be a July 1 signing. What do you think of him?
Well, I love him as an athlete. I love him as a person. But at his stage in his career, he's coming in. Where are you going to put him? Yeah. One of the big, really terrific, assets that he has been a net front presence, especially in the power play. You already got Eriksson Ek there. So what do? Pull Eriksson Ek out and put him there? And when I look at the lineup right now, I think, what are they going to need to get to where they want to go? And one thing I think is they got to make sure they get no less speed, but more speed. And so that, you have to make sure that you're not getting as many heavy bodies, because Carolina proved that you don't need all heavy bodies to win. Their forwards were more agile and fast and quick. And I want to make sure that the Wild have enough quickness up front on some of the signings they're going to do.
If you're attempting to read the tea leaves on Larkin, would you consider it still a long shot he ends up here? Not because they're not interested, but because there's a good chance other teams will have more to offer? Or do you think what the Wild have to hope is that he's adamant, given the control he kind of has to a degree, Larkin I'm talking about, that this is the place where he wants to land, and that will make it happen eventually?
I don't think it's going to make it happen, because I know Steve Yzerman. I watch how he operates, and he's got tremendous fortitude, and Larkin's got a long contract.
That's true.
I know I wouldn't be giving in, and I think that he's either going to get what he wants, be satisfied with what he gets in return, or he's not making that deal. And that's why I'm concerned that the Wild can make it, because they have to prove to Detroit that some of the assets they're trying to give to them, or at least that's why I don't think it's going to be a near-term deal. People might start the season, some of these guys might be playing, and they got to satisfy Detroit to fill the holes that they need filled to go on from there. They're not going to do it. Yzerman's not going to do anybody a favor. He's got a lot of guys, a lot of teams that would want to take him. And I don't know where the Wild can go right now to give him without creating a hole in its own lineup. You know, you fill a hole, but you don't want to
create another one. Yeah, that's true. Is Louie in on a 3 or 4 team trade that sends 97 to Detroit or Jersey and brings Larkin and Jack Hughes to Minnesota, frees up some money for more pieces near term, and induces Quinn into a longer term deal?
Well, you're not going to get Larkin and Jack Hughes for Kaprizov, so and you're paying Kaprizov money, but these other guys are going to cost a lot of money. When you look at those two, when their contracts are up, by the time you add those 2 contracts up, they're going to be very substantial, especially when Jack Hughes resigns. Larkin's got a little longer to go before he hits the home run. Is
it possible that, as good as I know you think, you like Kaprizov a lot, is it possible that the next gear, if there is such a thing with him, is directly dependent on him playing with a center that would be classified as a great center? That's more than anything else what he needs.
It's not just a great center. Zuccarello acted like a center. He was a great distributor of puck. If a wingman could do it.
So we get too hung up on the position.
Everybody's too hung up on that. That's right. Kaprizov, if anybody can make plays to him, he can create from what he does. I mean, he's very, very creative himself. And you know, you just take a look at what happened in the playoffs that have gone by. Some of the centers, the top ones didn't produce. The other wings did. Some of the wings were doing the scoring, you know. When you look at Dallas, it was Jason Robertson who was doing the scoring, you know, from the wing. And they were missing their top centerman for a while. So I think that they just want to find a good player. They want to find a good producing player, whether it's center or wing. They prefer center.
You're right.
But if they can get a wing, you know, if they can get a wing that can move the puck,
Louie, am I the only one who thinks we tend to overrate goaltenders who are hyped as the next Patrick Roy or Martin Brodeur? Don't get me wrong. I know goaltending is a critical part of a winning team, but if I'm building a roster, I would take an elite top-tier center over a so-called number 1 goaltender every time. Am I off base, or does anyone else see it the same way I do? That's Tony in St. Paul.
Well, Tony, as far as I'm concerned, you give me the best goaltender that I can get, and I think I got a better chance of beating you than you beating me. And we saw that in the playoffs. Just Bussy came in, and he was phenomenal. He had 43 games during the year, and he had a great season before Anderson came back. And if you take a look at the difference, you know, Bussy was a big difference in that. He really came in and turned that team around, and that was the difference in the series.
James wants to know whether Detroit is holding out for Wallstedt, and would it be a mistake to trade him for Larkin? I think you said to me before you would not be willing to budge on Wallstedt for a Larkin deal, correct?
Well, right now, I don't know. I might. I'm only because I've only seen Wallstedt play at that level for a short time. Can he continue to do that? What if that was a one-off? You know, and you do have Gustafsson. It's not
but he ain't going to be healthy at the start of the season, allegedly.
Yeah, but I think you're still going to be able to get a goaltender. There's a lot of goaltenders around right now in free agency, and you'll still be able to get someone that can come in and.
So you might consider it. You're saying
I might consider
that's the difference.
But that would be like that would be a major part of the deal.
It would have to be. Yeah, you're right.
I don't think Detroit's even looking for a goaltender that badly. So I'm not. I'm not saying that's before.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think that's the piece that's going to turn.
Yeah, maybe a 3-team deal then, where another team has the goaltender. Who knows? Those things tend to happen.
I'm sure Billy's gone through all this, and he's working. He's not going to sit quietly by. You know, he's going to try every avenue he has and see if there's any that will work. I just don't know how any's going to work right now. I think there's other teams that got way better chance of getting Larkin.
Did you see the way they surprised him with the general manager of the year award, the presentation? That was very well done.
That was terrific. Yeah, that was really good. Well deserved and a terrific. That had to be just an exciting night for him.
You have to be. We've discussed this before over the years, but as a former general manager who, you know, was never really afraid to take big swings. You know, sometimes work out, sometimes they don't, but who wanted to be, that was kind of in your DNA to see two general managers in this town who live by that credo, right? Now, Tim Connolly, again, it's the LaMelo Ball move is polarizing. A lot of people think it's awful. I don't, but a lot of people do. But it's a big swing. Billy Guerin, big swings. You have to appreciate that.
Right? I love it. I just love it. I just love the fact that they have the conviction to do what they think they really have to do to make the team win. It's so much better than watching somebody paralyzed. And you get frustrated as a fan, at least I do. I don't know if others do. When you think somebody's got to take a chance, you know, somebody says, how can you do that? And I said, I looked around. I just can't find another job that pays me this kind of money without taking chances. I think wherever you are, whenever you're in a leadership position, you have to make decisions. And if you can't make decisions, you're going to go down fast. Whether you are right or wrong, the fact that you're willing to do it shows that you have the tenacity and the fortitude and the passion to do the kind of things you think have to be done. I'd hate to go to bed at night thinking, oh, if I would have done this, I would have done that. Right. If I get the chance to do it. And the good part I had at that time, which would never happen today because all these owners are so involved, I never had to tell Gund about a move. He'd hear it after it was done. After you did it? Yeah. That's interesting. And the reason why it was like that, I said, Gordon, you have to let me have the freedom because when I'm making a deal, if I think it's a really good deal, I can't give the other guy a chance to think, rethink it. You know? And I'd act fast like that. It got to a point where Max McNabb called me one time, and he was general manager of Washington, and he called me and said, would you trade X for Y? And it was a minor league deal. I said, yeah, okay, you got a deal. Well, wait a minute. I said, no, I'll do it. You got a deal. And he hung up, and Gary Green, his coach, was in the office, and Gary Green told me at the end of the year, Max hung up and says, you can't deal like that with him. He's always up to something. I wasn't up to anything. It was his deal. It would have worked out for a minor league deal. I needed the forward, he needed the defenseman, that was it. But I had to have that right. Yeah. In fact, the thing that happened that almost got me fired before I started, when the deal was put together to merge Minnesota and Cleveland, and I had been a general manager for 2 months, and I met the Guns at the draft, and they said, okay, you're hired, you do what you have to do. And I said, okay, and I said, whatever you do, one of the things we were doing when we were merging the two teams together was we were going to have the opportunity to pick from the Cleveland roster. But we could pick the 10 players. After that, the other teams get an opportunity to pick, and we could freeze. And I said, Gordon, whatever you do, when you go back down to the meeting, don't allow anybody to make a deal with the league to take a draft choice instead of one of our players. We don't want anybody jumping in front of us in the draft. Right. And he said, okay. Well, when you know it, 2:00 in the morning, because I never used to sleep during the draft. 2:00 in the morning, Max McNabb, who was picking second, he was in Washington, makes a deal with me. He says, okay, Louie, he says, what do you want to insert a second-round pick at the top of the round before you, so I don't have to pick a player from your roster instead? And I said, okay, I'm going to give you, because I had 2 second-round picks right after, like 3 first or second, and then fourth. Right. I was picking twice. At the top of the second round. I said, I'm going to give you 2 names you can't touch. If you make a deal with me right now, I'll give you the names. You got the draft pick. He says, okay, fine. So I gave him the draft pick. So we go down to the meeting. I still haven't told Gunn. I mean, he's not even up. Those guys aren't even up yet. And then we go right to the draft floor. They start drafting it, and at the end of we list the rosters, and Ziegler says, and Washington will be taking a second-round pick at the top of the order in lieu of taking a player. And Gordon Gunn says, you told me not to do that. Why would you do that? I said, Gordon, I can't tell you now. I'll tell you after. I said, so after I told him, I said, Gordon, I did it because he was taking nothing from us because I protected the two guys I wanted.
That you wanted, yep.
And then he took nothing off our roster. But I had the freedom to do that.
Without going through it with him.
Yeah.
Well, part of it, I think, too, is you can't. I'm sure you're familiar with, and I've covered some of them over the years, general managers who are constantly looking for what the majority opinion is or conventional wisdom on a player or a trade possibility. It's in that mode of playing it safe. You know, it's like, well, if I do this, how would it be? What would the reaction be to it? You can't, to me, if you're really good at the job, you can't worry about that. You can't worry about, Jerry West was great about that. He didn't care that, well, there's 20 general managers who say that guy's overrated, and he didn't care.
No.
If he analyzed and said, I like what I see, he slept fine. He didn't have to have everybody else's approval. To me, that's what happens, why some GMs play it safe, is they're looking for that approval because conventional wisdom has already been kind of laid out about a given player.
There's no doubt about that. I've witnessed that firsthand, and you're right. And I got to know Jerry West because
right.
You know, when
all connections with LA with
Bus was trying to hire
Jerry
me,
Bus trying to hire you. Yeah.
But and we had guys like that in our league. Like if you take a look at Torrey and Cliff Fletcher and Harry Sinden, they had no problem making their deals. And they were strong-willed about it, and you could make them quick. I made one deal with Torrey. I made one or two with Cliff and also with Harry. And there was no, I'll get back to you or any of that. It was, I'm talking to you, you're talking to me, let's make the deal, and we made it. And that was good.
Yeah.
You know, the only difference I ever had was when I made the deal with Harry, we had the second pick. I had traded Detroit before the year started. I knew that I felt they were going to be bad, and I traded one of our players, I think it was Greg Smith, for their first pick, and they ended up picking second
overall.
And that's when I wanted Bellows, because even though Kuzak was a great defenseman,
right,
I had played with Barry McKenzie, who was his coach in junior, and he says, Louie, he's a good player, and I had him come out here, but he says he gets hurt a lot, so I wanted to make sure, and so I said, Harry, I'll give you two players to leave the pick I want alone and take another pick. And he says, okay, if we settle on the players, okay, but I'm still picking first because Boston's never picked first, so I'm going to make it sound like we're first.
Right,
second,
right.
And that's the way we did the deal. He might have been picking Kuzak anyway, but I had to have Bellows. I had to guard against that and get Bellows, so we did.
Let's break here, get caught up, and then we'll continue. We got more hockey to get to, some good texts, and I've got some World Cup to discuss, and who knows what else with Lou Nanne in studio when we continue.
Let bumper to bumper help.
If Louie was in Guerin's position with free agency starting tomorrow, would he wait on Larkin's decision or move forward and fill our roster with free agents?
I move forward and fill our roster. I don't.
That's what you're worried about.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. I hate to see them not get Larkin and then not get the free agents that they want, because, as we said, we got to replace these 53 goals if those three guys aren't back.
Hard to argue with that. That's the tricky position, because we're all seduced with the big name, but you can't forget the rest of the team. And as you said, if you're missing production, you have to figure out where you're going to get that production from.
Yeah, because you also have to look at what's already transpired.
Yeah,
who signed who,
right, and
who drafted who. When I take a look at the draft, I'm going to tell you, San Jose, they walked away with three great players to go in that young lineup. Utah made a couple of good moves, and
the other teams aren't sitting still.
They're in your conference, so you got tougher games coming up, I think.
Closing minutes, World Cup knockout stage, afternoon game, France 3, Sweden 0, a dominant performance. Did Mbappe have one goal or two? One goal.
Yeah.
He has been a star, of course, of this tournament. No surprise there, among several of the other big knockers. And you said the first France goal was absurd.
That was
I missed that one.
That was his.
That was his. Okay.
Yeah, the way he moved that ball with his feet to fake somebody out, just maybe 20 yards from the goal, and then get that shot away. He's got unique talent, and it's so much fun to watch these guys that have that kind of skill to be able to do it with their feet. It's an amazing thing.
To this point, and there's still a long way to go, but to this point, this event here has been a smashing success. There's no argument with it. Even if you don't love soccer, there's no question.
No, it's 3 billion people watch this, which is telling in itself. And on top of that, what I like about it is they're seeing the USA all over. It's covered. As we were saying, 3 billion people are watching. They're watching these people in the U.S.
Yeah, right.
And they're watching people enjoy themselves here. They're watching people in all different parts of the country, seeing America firsthand rather than through newspapers or stuff like that. And I think it's been great for the U.S.
It's been outstanding. This is from Andy in Cannon Falls. He writes, I'm 48 years old. I can't remember what I ate for breakfast some days. Luigi, at his age, remembers every detail from stuff that happened 50 to 60 years ago. What gives? Love the Louie segment every week. Louie, don't change. You are the best. Yeah, you have a mind for that stuff. You remember stuff.
Yeah.
But maybe you don't remember the more recent stuff like what you ate. I don't know.
Yeah.
But this stuff, those details, they don't ever seem to leave you.
I think I had too many concussions. Things were just knocked into my head and stayed there. No, I've been very fortunate that I can. And many times I think it's even a product of enjoying what you were doing at that moment or enjoying the situation.
That's true.
Good memories are things that even bad memories are things that really stand out in your mind. And that's why some of these things stand out in my mind, because they were so important at that time. And maybe that's why you retain it.
Here's a college hockey question from a 612 guy. He wants to know, he wants some answers on college hockey about how the landscape has changed with the CHL. It should make college hockey much better quality. I see an upcoming game in October between Michigan State and North Dakota. We'll have 14 combined first-round picks playing. Is there any downside to Minnesota players in the future with all these Canadians coming to play college?
Well, I think there is. I don't like the fact that they're able to come after they've played junior. And I think that might either take a position of an American boy that was going to get it, or at least slow the opportunity for the American boy to get it. And I'm frankly really surprised, because I just left the U.S. committee board about 2 years ago, and I spent about 25 years on it. And one of the things we used to always be concerned about, we always look at how many Canadians are going to the U.S. to play and how many U.S. boys are going to Canada to play. And one of the things that the U.S. did do properly at the time, they put a limit on how many import goaltenders you can have in the USHL. And that's why the U.S. has got so many good goaltenders, and Canada hasn't. And Canada's trying to do things differently now. It's got great goaltenders. Both Russia and Czechoslovakia and Finland, a lot of European goaltenders in the league now and coming in the league, and a lot of them were drafted.
We just drafted a 6'8" goalie, didn't we, from a Czech goalie?
No such thing as small goaltenders anymore.
That's crazy.
It is. If you're 6'2", you're short.
Yeah.
They have, I don't know what they're feeding these kids, but it's like Jack and the Beanstalk, but they must be given especially to goaltenders.
What do you know about, I saw a headline on it, and then I just checked to see that I wasn't hallucinating it. NHL is investigating the idea of expanding to either Houston or Austin. How serious is that? What do you make of that?
That's really serious. I'll tell you what I make of it. This is Gary Bettman, and I have the same birthday. He was 74, June 2nd. Next year, 75. I wouldn't be doubt if he's going to retire. And I think before he retires, he wants to hit a major league home run for these owners. And the last franchise went for $1 billion. And now I'm hearing talk of this Houston or Austin or whoever they take, Kansas City, wherever it comes from. They're talking $3 billion. And Gary's done such a marvelous job since he's got in there. He's made the owner so much money.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That they'll probably build a shrine to him, because he
at least a statue.
He's done a phenomenal job. And I think that before his last act, before he goes, he's got the collective bargaining agreement now they just signed with the players, so they're set for 4 or 5 years. I think his next final act will be one or two expansion teams. If you take one, you're going to eventually have to take two because you got to balance it out.
That would be 33. So you need,
and so if you take two, then you have to see who is going to be under consideration to go east, and I think it'd probably be Detroit and Nashville, and you take in say Houston and Austin or Kansas City. There's a number of places, Florida's. Atlanta's trying to get back into it, and they've already had two fail. I don't know if they want to do that, but they are looking for bigger markets too. And Houston and
Houston's a big market,
and Austin.
Austin's a growing market.
They give the NHL that.
Did you ever, in your wildest imagination, think that your game would get to a place where it was no big deal to go into the Deep South? I mean, it's crazy, Now it seems routine, but once upon a time, people are, well, you're nuts. There's no way it's going to work. But to build, these markets in unlikely, at least on paper, places to where I think now I wouldn't be shocked wherever you go in the South on the basis of the number of places in Sun Belt that the NHL has gone successfully.
No, I'm completely flabbergasted how well they've done down south. I figured places like Seattle could do it because Seattle and Portland had a great league out there, the Western Hockey League, and they drew very well and had great following. But you're talking smaller crowds, and you're talking 8,000 to 10,000, not 20,000. So to think that it was going to go south like it did, and then expand in those areas and be successful like it was, when I left, the expansion fee for Tampa Bay, my last Board of Governors meeting, Tampa Bay and Ottawa came in. They came in for $50 million. 50 now. We just said $3 billion. Are you kidding me? That's 1991.
Yeah.
So I'm just blown away by the progress they made.
All right, now this is probably a premature question because the U.S. has a ways to go. They'll play the next game tomorrow night. But we were talking about the U.S. coach who's from Argentina, Mauricio Pochettino, who's been a hell of a story. They paid a lot to get him, to entice him. And I think that was some of the thinking in U.S. World Cup soccer precincts was, look, we want to get serious about this. We got to get a guy who's respected everywhere, which they have done. As the story goes, sometime during the period after he was hired, one of the big shots who helped bankroll this, sent him a copy of the motion picture Miracle. And the story goes that Pochettino cried watching it, and now it's kind of become, the battle cry, like, well, why not us? So here's the question Gaardsy and I were discussing a few weeks ago, even though it's very premature, as I said. What, in all honesty, would be a bigger miracle? What the U.S. men's hockey team did at Lake Placid, or the U.S. men's soccer team winning this whole thing?
Well, you probably would have to say the soccer team because they're going through 64 teams, to get there.
Several Soviet unions.
And never been in that era. And that's why I don't know if you've seen the commercial with Mike Ruzioni.
Very well done.
I text Mike, I said, you did yourself this time.
Yeah,
this
very
is
well done.
One of the best commercials I've ever seen. Yep. Don't you believe in miracles? I loved it. Every time I see it, I laugh. He did such a wonderful job on it. But that, I can't tell you how tough is that going to be.
Yeah.
You got to go through all these teams, and they're so good. There's so many good players.
I think you might be right. Yeah. Again, it's apples and oranges, two completely different deals, and nothing ever is going to touch for its time what happened in Lake Placid, but it would be stunning. I don't know, the other nugget, I didn't even mention this to Gaardsy, that apparently Pochettino said after watching the movies he had one complaint. You know what it was?
What's that?
The guy they had playing Louie did not. That was his only reservation about the whole damn movie.
He is a smart coach.
He knows what he's talking about, doesn't he?
He considered walking out halfway through like you did, but then said, wait, I got to watch. They're making me watch.
How good is that?
I was in Washington about a month ago, and this fella called me. He's on Fox, that Mark Thiesling, or I don't know. It's something like that. His name.
Who plays for? Who'd you say?
The writer.
Okay.
He's on Fox. He called up.
Gotcha.
And he said, "Oh yeah." And he's doing a book right now. And he says, "Lou, are you ever coming to Washington, or I'll come down to Palm Beach?" And I says, "Actually, I'm coming to Washington in a week. I got a meeting up there." He says, "Can I have breakfast with you?" I said, "Sure." So he's writing a book right now about just what you were talking about. Never be the same, because he's writing a book about everything else around the hockey, about what it meant to the country and
the political backdrop, the whole bit.
And he's doing it. He's doing it in comparison to when Reagan got him to, knock down the wall.
Yeah, Berlin Wall.
I'm going to be interested to.
That's got great potential for sure.
Yeah, he was flying over to Berlin to.
Wow.
I mean, it's going to take him about a year to do the book. He says.
That's good. That's a good idea.
Yeah,
that's good possibility for sure. Yeah. Absolutely. All right, we talked about the fact that Russo thought you were done for the summer. We can probably give you a few weeks off now, unless there's a big move. There's a big move, we'll at least make a phone call.
I think next week, there'll be some stuff.
You think you want to wait a little longer?
No, next week, I'm sure we'll have some signings. It's all.
Well, I just don't want to push. I don't know how badly you're looking for the time off.
No, well, I can do next week.
At least next week?
Yeah,
okay, good. All right, well, then we'll go from there and we'll see where it goes. And then, believe it or not, Gaardsy's already trying to book state fair appearances, so it's close.
I'll be on the Rhine River. I'll be on the river cruise, yes.
For the whole state fair?
I'm leaving August 23rd, and I come back September 3rd.
There's no World Juniors to promote this year. Louie's not going to be out there.
I got to go to Belgium first and Antwerp, and I love chocolate, and I got to see how they make it over there. So I'm going to go
on the bucket list,
Brussels and Antwerp and Belgium. Then we're going to go from Amsterdam down through Germany, France, and Switzerland.
Yeah. Sounds very nice.
Looking forward to it.
Outstanding. All right, well, then we'll see you or talk to you next week.
Sounds good.
Great stuff as always.
Right,
Louie, of course, brought to you by Kemp's. Outstanding text today from our audience as well.
How much Kemp's do you need at the compound this week with 46
a transport truck
nanny family members?
46?
Yeah.
4th of July.
4th of July.
Yeah, 4th of July.
So do you bring in sparklers?
No.
Cherry bombs.
No, they have.
Do you have your own fireworks display? I'm assuming you do. You just have some you hire.
I don't want to burn everything down.
That's true.
By the way, they have a great fireworks.
Do they?
Display
Balsam?
there, Balsam.
Yeah.
And Luck and all the towns around it. You're watching one, you could see all the other towns in the background doing it as well.
46?
46 of us, yeah. A lot of food, a lot of camps.
Did you have to expand the pickleball court? Did you add to it, or are you in good shape?
No, you
just gotta win.
You gotta wait your turn.
Get a time.
Yeah.
There's like a schedule, and you gotta sign up.
Yeah.
Right? There's sign-ups like everything else.
Yeah.
That's outstanding. I have a great 4th, man.
Oh,
Appreciate you.
Nice to talk to you.
Luigi helping us out via Kemp's. Top of the hour pause. We'll come back with a couple of other items when we return.
You're listening to Barrero on The Fan.
From the 1-800 Ask Gary Traffic Center.
We got any new steam on LeBron? Or is it pretty much status quo?
Nothing new. Yeah. You see the big NBA news, though?
No. I don't think.
Shams bomb.
Another one?
30 minutes ago. League news. The NBA will hold the NBA Cup championship game at Butler's Hinkle Fieldhouse on December 11th next season.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Well, what time's your apology?
Where else would they rather?
I mean, you can mock it all you want. There's a reason they're doing it.
Because everything's better in Indy.
Everything's better in Indy, including Hinkle. Historic Hinkle.
It's true. When you have the opportunity to get into Indy, you could do it in Vegas like they did the last 2 years.
That's trite, cliche.
Sure. Especially in December. I'm guessing the NBA players are going to be motivated as hell to spend an extra couple days in Indy.
Should be.
In December to play at Hinkle Fieldhouse. Everything's better there.
It's an exalted place.
Do you know how many times that tweet has been sent to me?
I'm guessing it's more than one. More than two.
A few.
More than three.
A few, yeah. Keep going. Not one, not two.
I'm looking for the text. This is for you. Is Gaardsy feeling inspired by Serena? Would he consider trying to qualify for a nanny pickleball tournament at the compound?
Ooh, that might be. Well, the problem is I can't get in.
No, it's impossible.
4th of July
standing room
week.
only.
Yeah, 4th of July week.
You can get on a waiting list.
Yes.
And then if a few people get sick or don't show up, maybe you have a chance. Otherwise, you're not going to have any opportunity.
I'm trying to think about the day we did the show from there. That must have been a really down time in the Nanne compound. No...
It was empty.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Louie basically went just for us. The place it must have been an off weekend, Balsam Lake, because we had the run of the place.
Did you just screw up the weather again?
I didn't do the weather because, speaking of the cabin, I was hearing about Louie's vegetable garden.
Oh, he was holding you up at the vestibule?
So I didn't do it.
He showed me his vegetable. Did he show you the photos?
Well, no, because he was walking that way, and then I heard the weather, and I tried to get back, but I figured do the weather for the 50th time that it's hot as hell and it might rain, or listen to Luigi tell me about his garden. I went with the garden, so apologies to the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line.
We got no violent weather in the area, we don't think?
I don't think so, and if there is, I shouldn't be the one telling people. But if you're worried about it, you should go to a second source.
Wow.
That's kind of how I'm feeling about the weather these days.
You might be right. I guess you're probably right.
If you're concerned about the weather, go to the Fox Weather app. Ian Leonard will tell you.
No other free agency announcement. Now, so NHL free agency starts tomorrow, correct?
Is that true? Yeah, July 1.
I believe.
Yeah.
NBA free agency started officially at 5 o'clock tonight.
The Kawhi Leonard trade is official.
In other words, an hour and change to go. Here's what's interesting to me. ESPN is reporting that all the Warriors can offer LeBron is a $6 million non-taxpayer mid-level exception. We can pay him that, can't we?
I would imagine, yes.
Maybe more. You got to get in on it.
Oh, they're trying.
You got to get in on it.
They've definitely called.
Who needs a front court player more right now, more urgently, given the way the Wolves have really, reconfigured their lineup than this club? Nobody. He's a perfect fit. Perfect fit.
What if he says, I was inspired by Kevin Garnett to come out of high school?
That'd be nice, yeah.
He showed us the way. Wait for it, though. I'll come, but I want to wear 21.
Well, you'd have to let him.
Of course. Yeah, that was an easy question.
I think Garnett would say yes.
But you have to hold off on the jersey retirement.
That's okay.
That was supposed to be for next year.
Yeah, that's all right. You can do it later. Wherever he lands, it will not be driven by money.
Right. That's been one of the reports.
Does he really want to go back to Cleveland again? Does he really want to go back to Miami again? I mean, to me, Golden State because he stays in California. He's got, takes his private jet, 15 minutes to go from L.A. to, what's the big deal?
It's about a 45 to 55-minute flight.
Yeah, it's nothing. But if he wants to shock the world and say,
be different.
I have no idea what he thinks of LaMelo. I think he probably likes Anthony.
Yes.
I have no idea because somebody had texted earlier, you got the two dominant ball guys in the backcourt. Now LeBron likes the ball. He doesn't need the ball like he used to.
He spent the whole year until those two guys got hurt not having the ball.
Correct. And still, you can never have, as the cliche goes, too many ball handlers. That's not the same thing as he needs it to survive, to breathe. He's past that point, right? He's done all of that. So I don't think that part of it would matter at all. So yeah, I'm assuming we will look into it, even if have odds been posted in Vegas since the announcement earlier today that he's leaving the Lakers?
I did get an email. I'm sure there's odds posted. Where are we here?
Wonder how deep we are in that. I'm sure it's got to be. I don't know if it's Golden State won it. Maybe it's Cleveland won.
So this is from Bet Online. Golden State is a 1 to 10 favorite, so minus 1,000. So that's prohibitive.
That's prohibitive, isn't it?
Yeah. Cleveland is second, 2 to 1.
Miami third.
Miami is fifth at 12 to 1.
Who's fourth?
Well, Boston is third.
Boston's third.
8 to 1. San Antonio Spurs, Davey, 10 to 1. San Antonio would actually be, if he really, I think that's the wild card.
Here's the weakness in our position.
We're seventh, by the way, behind Denver and then us. We're 16-1.
Denver apparently is about to get Jaylen Brown for a package that includes what? Who's their guard? Who's the long-standing Jamal Murray? Yeah. The vulnerable part of our position is there are other teams clearly that seem closer to if this whole deal is this is going to be his last year. If he's playing the odds of a ring, if it's about another ring, we ain't going to be at the top of the list, correct?
Probably not.
Realistically, I don't think even the most rose-colored glasses Wolves fan could say otherwise. Now, the selling point from Conley would be, well, if you come here, we're right there.
Which I think is true.
We're closer, but, there's still some things that have to work out here. I mean, the Spurs, what about OKC? They're not in there?
Didn't see, let's see, hang on.
OKC doesn't work that way. Usually, that's not there.
Yeah, Oklahoma City's 80-1.
Oh, there's your guy, Kendrick, talking about LaMelo right now. He's aroused by the move. He has said it's the best backcourt in basketball. It can be the best backcourt in basketball. It can be. We still got to see it. Got to see it the way it works out. But I was hoping for like some big dramatic free agency announcement, even if it's not LeBron, right at 5:01.
The only thing that really came down that's official is the trade. The Kawhi trade has been agreed to.
That has been.
And he's
agreed
going
to.
back to Toronto.
All right, we'll finish with a couple of World Cup nuggets and give you some highlights of today's program when we wrap things.
Bumper to Bumper with Dan Barrero.
Show Wrap is brought to you by American Pressure, commercial-grade pressure washer since 1975.
It's the Bumper to Bumper Show Wrap.
Great hour with Luigi in studio, starting with the top 5 at 5, his own stories of attempting to keep people up that are about to participate in mythic sports competition. A lot of good, wild stuff. I think he's a little worried that we are not seeing the forest for the trees in our desire to get another big name. He's worried about the people who are moving perhaps beyond us, including Zuccarello. So that was Louie on that subject, and he covered a lot of ground between 5 and 6. A lot of good World Cup conversation with him. So France dominates. Was it 4-0? I can't remember the final score. It was either 3 or 4-0.
It was 3-0.
3-0
over Sweden.
Over Sweden. And then tonight, we talked about it. It's Mexico taking on
Ecuador.
And the Ecuadorian officials are bitter because the players were kept up all night by the Mexico fans hanging out at the hotel, apparently, and using their vuvuzelas and bullhorns and the whole bit. So could be revenge factor tonight. Could be little extra zest to the story this evening. U.S. is tomorrow night, correct?
7 o'clock,
Our next round there.
Yeah, we'll have Blakemore tomorrow.
It was a Talker Tuesday on a Tuesday today. We talked about a couple of the Supreme Court rulings. Got a lot of good response there. We did Dare to Dream on LeBron James and wondered where he would most likely prefer to live, either Minneapolis or St. Paul. I didn't save. There were a lot of good texts that came in with a number of interesting ideas there. And what else did we cover? I guess those were... I never did the done as item. We did do Ode to a Dead Guy, lead singer Blood, Sweat, and Tears, who died last week, and we finally found time to get to that. Tomorrow is Wednesday, so it's a Kessler Wednesday, unless he's going to another Earth, Wind, and Fire concert.
He should be back. Hopefully he made it back from New York.
I forgot about that. That's right. And he can file a live report about his experiences, starting with the concert in which Lionel Richie left early, right? Or shut it down a little bit earlier than usual.
45 minutes in.
So, in any case, that'll be on tomorrow's docket. And is Russo tomorrow or Thursday?
Undetermined.
Undetermined.
Working on it.